Hello viewers and welcome to another session of Autodesk Civil 3D 2022. I hope that you have gone through the study material shared in the last lecture, which was lecture number 78. In this lecture, we will learn about the creation of assemblies and sub-assemblies. So, first thing first, let's close this by default drawing and open this supporting file which is attached along with this video tutorial. Here you can see a simple surface along with an alignment. So this is the thin surface. We can go to assembly and then create assembly. Here we have to specify a name. For instance, we can give the name as complete primary section of road. Assembly type can be set to other, although there are different types available. Assembly style is basic, and here you can see we can change the created dates and different details. In code set, we can go for all codes. However, we have different options available and we can see them like this. You can differentiate between them, and whatever feels convenient, you can set it as per your own requirement. Under layers, we can create a new one or add a modifier of suffix underscore steric. Let's press OK. Now we can place it at some distance. Now from tool palette, we can get different type of assemblies and sub-assemblies. From here, first we will choose the lane. Make sure that you are in civil matrix sub-assemblies so that you can access all of these. If you have gone through the main study file folder, you have all the details about their specifications and each and every assembly and sub-assembly. Now for this lane, we have this lane slope, lane width, version, super elevation, side and width. Let's make it to the right side. Width can be adjusted to 3.5 and the default slope is -2%, which is perfect for now. Let's make it no for the potential pivot. Now we can place it on the right side of assembly like this. Our basic lane has been created. Now we can go to this sub-assembly properties, and under the information tab, we can change the name of this lane to right lane. Under parameters, we can access and change these values later on as well. But for now, we will go with them. In case you missed the study material, you can also get more details from here regarding this specific subassembly, like what is the width, what is the outside lane, what is the SE percentage of slope. So it will give you each and every detail. Furthermore, it will show you the default values. Like by default, it is for the right side. By default, the width is 3.6 meters. Default slope is -2. Similarly, there is pavement 1 depth, pavement 2 depth, base depth, and sub-base depth. If you can go to further coding diagram, you can see them like this. Let's apply and then hit OK. So this is the right lane and now you can see the name as well. The next thing we need to add is the curve. So we need to access the curves and here we have this curve. The side is right. Insertion point is the gutter edge. Then you can see all the by default values. There are different type of depths, extensions, slope methods, and few more dimensions. So let's go all by default and then click here. We can select this curve, go to subassembly properties, and under the information tab, we can change the name it to right curve. Under parameters, we can access this help, and here you can see all the details about this specific curve, like what is the flange, what is the sub-base depth, the sub-base slope, and the extension. Furthermore, you can see all the by default settings. If you are convenient with them, you can go with by default settings or you can change them. Here is the coding diagram. Let's apply and then press OK. The next thing is to add the sidewalk. So it must be accessed from the basic tab. Under basic, we must have the basic sidewalk. Here you can see there's the basic sidewalk, and from here we can see the default values or we can change them. Like for instance, we can change the width to 1.5. We can change the depth to 0.1. We can keep width 1 and 2 for the buffer as 0.5. Then we can place it here. It's time to change the name. So in subassembly properties under the information tab, we will write as the right sidewalk. We can access the subassembly help to have a better view. What is buffer width 1, 2, and what is the standard width and depth, so that there is no confusion by the end of the day. Here is the coding diagram as well. Now we can press apply and then OK. After the sidewalk, we must have a slope. For that, we have to access the basic tab. There is the basic side slope cut in ditch, and we can place it on the right side. For now, let's check all the default values so that we can either go with by default values or we have to change them. For now, it seems convenient with the by default values. So we have to click here and then our right side is complete. Now we can touch this subassembly, go to subassembly properties, and from there under the information tab we can change the name to right slope. After applying we can press OK, and now all we need to do is simply mirror this right side assembly into the left side. So we can select it, mirror, and then click on the left side, and boom, everything is done automatically. Now all we need to do is simply rename it. So for the right lane, we will change it to left lane. Next comes the curve, so we can select it, go to subassembly properties, and change the name to left curve. After that, we have the sidewalk, so go to subassemblies, name it as left sidewalk. Then we can select the slope, go to subassembly properties, and name it as the left slope. Now we can press OK, and our assembly and subassembly has been created. All we need to do is apply on the corridor. Make sure that you have a profile. So go to profile, create surface profile. Here we will take the alignment of road or the natural terrain and add it. Now we can draw in profile view. We will select the alignment Here is the profile view name. For instance, we can write the name as road view. We can choose any profile style which is convenient, and under the layers we can add the modifier of suffix as underscore static. I will go through this process quickly because we already have learned about it. I'm keeping everything by default and automated. Here we have the natural terrain surface about which we are going to create the profile, as it is necessary to create a profile before we create a corridor. Now we have a profile. Simply go to corridor and create a corridor. Here we can give a specific name like view 1. Under the layers we can add the modifier suffix as underscore static and then press OK. The baseline type is alignment and profile, alignment is road, and the profile is natural terrain surface 1. Assembly is selected and the target surface is natural terrain. Here this is the baseline, BL road and RG complete. So let's rebuild the corridor and see the results. The corridor has been formed successfully. Now you can view it like this. We can select it, go to Object Viewer, or simply right click and access the Object Viewer. We can zoom in, zoom out to see the effects. From here you can visualize it. Sometimes when you are in Object Viewer and you turn realistic mode, your system might become a little bit slow. It totally depends upon the file size, the overall description, details, and your system specifications above all. Here you can see we have the lane, we have the curb, then there is the sidewalk, and finally the slope. Everything is there intact. Now we can go to File, Save As, and save the file as lecture number 79, as we were doing all the changes in the supporting file. Once the file is saved, we can close it. And now you can see on the desktop we have two files. One is the supporting file and the other is lecture number 79. Let's call it the day. See you in another session. Till then, take care.